Hello, guys. I want to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Wherever you may be around the world, welcome to another episode of Kingdom Podcast. That is right. Today, I'm going to talk about illegal immigration, how which states in the United States of America where illegals have lived, but now today it's has become impossible for them to live in those states. We just naming like 10 states, As you know, recently Florida, Arizona had always had the toughest laws, immigration laws. Texas now is taking things on their own hand. They have, and Iowa, Alabama, Louisiana, Georgia, Oklahoma, places that you never think will have like hard rules as far as immigration or doing that. And basically, there is nowhere for these illegals to hide. And most of these states are also implementing e-verified, and they have extended the e-verified even to small businesses as well. And pretty soon it's gonna be mandatory in every state to implement e-verify and the hiring process. Most states right now are doing or asking for um, when they enroll their children in school, they're asking parents for their legal status, and that even includes some states are even doing hospitals as well. When people going in, to hospitals, as you know that illegals are famous for giving birth because their birth rate is very very high in the United States. They have a lot of children, and they're just famous for going to hospitals, give birth, not paying a cent, and the taxpayer have to pick up the tab for them. But right now, they are asking for legal status even in hospitals. So basically, in the United States, it's becoming very hard and very difficult without legal status for you to live, move around, work, and just basically doing your everyday basic skills. And as you know that United States of America people for so long are so used to not uh, being legal or following immigration laws and just going in and working 20, 30, 40 years illegally, make a living without legal papers. So it's becoming now impossible to do just that. So there's a quick video. I want you guys to watch it real quick about the states that are implementing uh, their harsh immigration laws.
They say America is the land of opportunity. But what if that opportunity stops at the state line? Picture this. You're pulled over for a broken taillight, and the next thing you know, you're facing deportation. Sound extreme? It's real. And it's happening right now in parts of the U.S. Where you live could mean the difference between safety and surveillance. Why are some states doubling down on crackdowns while others stay silent? Why are new laws popping up that feel more like warnings than rules? Buckle up, because if you're undocumented, these 10 states might just be the most dangerous places to call home. Number 10. Texas. Think you're safe just because you've lived here for years? Think again. In this state, even a simple walk to the grocery store could land you behind bars if you don't have the right papers. We're talking about Texas, where the immigration crackdown has gone full throttle. In 2023, they passed Senate Bill 4, giving state officers the power to arrest and deport undocumented immigrants, not ICE local cops. And if that wasn't enough, you could face up to 20 years in prison just for re-entering the state after deportation. Sounds wild, right? But guess what? This isn't a federal law. It's the state taking matters into its own hands. And while lawsuits are flying, the fear is already here. Could your next traffic stop turn into a one-way trip out of the country? If you're undocumented in Texas, that answer might be yes. And the consequences, absolutely brutal. Number 9. Oklahoma. You think things couldn't get worse? Wait until you hear about this next place. Just one state over from Texas, Oklahoma is setting its own trap, and it's working. In 2024, lawmakers passed a bill that makes it a state crime to be in Oklahoma illegally. Not only could you face 2 years in prison, but after that, you've got 72 hours to get out or risk being arrested again. That's not just harsh, it's calculated. And what if you're pulled over for a busted headlight? That could be enough. You'd be shocked how fast someone can go from roadside to jail cell. The law even says local police must enforce it, turning everyday officers into immigration agents. Sound extreme? It is. And if you think no one's getting caught, think again. The state's already made dozens of arrests, and it's just getting started. Before we continue, make sure to hit that subscribe button so we can keep exposing the truth and bringing you more eye-opening content like this. Trust us, you don't want to miss what's coming next. They're watching, and in this place, they don't care how long you've lived here or how clean your record is. What if your only crime was being born on the wrong side of a border? What if just existing in the wrong zip code meant jail time? Stay tuned, because next, we're heading to Iowa, where copycat laws are turning life into a legal minefield. Number 8. Iowa. It starts off calm. Small towns, quiet roads, friendly faces. But don't let the calm fool you. This place is quietly turning into one of the harshest states for undocumented immigrants. We're talking about Iowa, a state that recently decided to take justice into its own hands. Inspired by Texas's controversial Senate Bill 4, Iowa passed a bill in early 2024 that effectively makes it illegal to be undocumented within state borders. You'd be shocked how quickly this law came together. Signed, sealed, and ready for enforcement. And here's the kicker. Even if you're not committing any crimes, just being undocumented is enough to land you behind bars. The law allows local officers to question and detain anyone they suspect isn't supposed to be here. Sound vague? That's the point. A traffic stop, a routine ID check, or even walking through the wrong neighborhood could spiral into a full-blown legal nightmare. But guess what? It gets worse. If you're caught and deported, re-entering the state could now lead to felony charges, and the penalties? We're talking years in prison, not months. And this isn't just a scare tactic. Authorities in Iowa have already begun enforcing the law, with multiple arrests and deportations reported just weeks after the bill went into effect. Families are being torn apart, fast. Children left behind, homes abandoned overnight, and communities living in constant fear. And for those thinking, it can't happen to me, ask yourself this. What if one wrong turn, one broken taillight, one random ID check changed everything? Iowa isn't just following in Texas's footsteps. It's going even further, with less media coverage and less resistance. That makes it even more dangerous. The scariest laws are the quiet ones, the ones people don't notice until it's too late. And in Iowa, that silence is deadly. Number 7. Florida. Sunshine, beaches, and some of the harshest immigration laws in the country. Welcome to Florida, where the paradise ends fast if you're undocumented. In March 2025, this state ramped things up like never before. New legislation signed into law by Governor Ron DeSantis now punishes undocumented immigrants even harder if they're caught committing crimes, even non-violent ones. But here's what's wild. Driving without a license in Florida can now lead to longer jail time just because of your immigration status. And it's not just the laws, it's the system behind them. Florida has one of the highest deportation rates in the country, with thousands of families separated in the last year alone. ICE raids have become more frequent, more aggressive, and more public. Hospitals are even required to ask for your immigration status upon admission. Yes, you heard that right. Getting medical help could become a risk. And what if you're a child of undocumented parents? Schools have begun implementing policies to report undocumented guardians during enrollment processes. The fear is real, and it's creeping into every corner of life, from work to school to healthcare. And the result? Communities are shrinking. Families are fleeing to nearby states. Some are even considering leaving the U.S. altogether. You'd be shocked to see how quickly things changed here. Just 5 years ago, many parts of Florida were considered safe havens. Today, they're trap zones. And guess what? It's only going to get tougher. Lawmakers are already pushing for even stricter measures, including mandatory immigration checks at public job sites and increased funding for local cooperation with ICE. So ask yourself this: what happens when your doctor, your child's teacher, or your boss becomes a threat? What happens when normal life becomes impossible? In Florida, it's already happening, and the clock is ticking. Before we move on, make sure to hit that subscribe button so we can keep giving you the truth most people aren't ready to hear. Your support helps us bring these stories to light, because trust us, the next states on this list, they'll leave you speechless. Think you're safe just because you haven't committed a crime? What if your very existence is the crime? Coming up next is a state where being undocumented is practically treated like a felony, and you won't believe the lengths they've gone to. Stay with us, because Georgia is not playing around. Number 6. Georgia. What if every move you made, every school drop-off, every clock-in at work, every trip to the store, felt like a countdown? Not because you're breaking the law, but because you simply exist without the right papers. That's the chilling reality in Georgia, where being undocumented isn't just difficult, it's a daily gamble. In 2024, Georgia intensified its already tough stance with a new wave of laws empowering local police to detain and turn over anyone suspected of being in the U.S. illegally, even without a warrant. And it's not just about ICE anymore. This law encourages counties to enforce federal immigration codes as local law, effectively turning small-town sheriffs into border agents. You'd be shocked at how quickly someone's life can unravel here. Even a minor infraction, like not having a driver's license, can kickstart a process that ends in deportation. And guess what? Georgia has a track record. The state ranked among the top 5 in the country for 287G agreements, a program that gives local law enforcement direct power to act as immigration officers. That means you don't need to break a serious law. You just need to look suspicious. And here's something most people don't know. Georgia is home to one of the largest immigrant detention centers in the U.S., the Stewart Detention Center. Critics call it a black hole. Once you're in, getting out feels impossible. And for those living in rural areas, the fear is constant. No big city protections, no legal safety nets, just silence and survival. Even children aren't spared. Undocumented parents fear sending their kids to school. Why? Because state-level data sharing has increased. One wrong document submitted, one school administrator with too many questions, and boom, families are split. So ask yourself this: what kind of state treats hardworking families like fugitives? What kind of place turns everyday errands into immigration checkpoints? In Georgia, the answer is right outside your front door. Number 5. Alabama. You want to talk about going all in? Then you need to hear what's happening in Alabama, where immigration enforcement isn't just aggressive, it's relentless. Long before some of the newer crackdowns, this state already had a reputation. And now in 2025, it's making a comeback, and not in a good way. In fact, Alabama's HB 56 law, once dubbed the toughest immigration law in the nation, is quietly being revived. Parts of it were struck down by courts years ago, but lawmakers have been working overtime to bring them back, with new, legally refined versions. One recent bill forces employers to verify immigration status, not just when hiring, but also during random audits. So even if you've had your job for years, you're still at risk of being reported and fired. And it doesn't stop there. The state now encourages landlords to report undocumented tenants, meaning your home is no longer safe either. One knock at the door, one anonymous tip, and you could be facing deportation proceedings before you finish your morning coffee. You'd be shocked at how many people have already
So basically, the states are not playing, and I believe that once these illegal people are gone, which they are by the million, there's an estimate there's around 30 million people living illegally in the United States of America. So that should free up schools, seats, housing, and so on and so on. And I myself personally, I always say that the reason there is a shortage of housing in the U.S. is because illegal immigration is one of the reasons. It's not the only reason, but it's one of them. You know. So anyway, I hope you guys did enjoy the video, and don't forget to like the video, comment below, subscribe, share the video, and I want to thank all my new subscribers to my channel. I want to thank you for supporting the channel. I want to thank you all that have subscribed and will continue to support the channel. And I'll be seeing you guys on my next video. Bye.